ball so hard, mother truckers trying to find me. Dun, dun. Hi, I'm Monisha, and this is my vlog. I decided to start vlogging. There's been so many times where I've tried to vlog and I hated it, mostly because first, I had to get over my body image issues, and then second, I had to develop a personality again because unfortunately, and I'm not going to get too deeply into this, I just have had a lot of experiences that have made me feel like there's something intrinsically wrong with who I am. You know, like there was a point where I just liked me. I liked me so much. And then I wanted to be in a relationship more than I actually liked myself and dated the wrong people for me. And also just didn't ever really get over those, just like kind of like snowballed through relationships, collecting a cluster of dysfunction and toxicity. And even when I was nice and cordial, people would do things that just made it clear, hey, you know what? Triggers happen because something's unhealed, and sometimes triggers happen because not the right person. I say all this to say a big part of the reason why I struggled with making videos is because I really just got to this point where I don't know, I just kind of felt like everything about me was wrong. I didn't think that I was someone that people would actually like to listen to. And then thankfully, I just have this amazing group of women that just made it very clear that wasn't the case and introduced me to even more women who made it clear that wasn't the case. And then I met more and more women. And I also have a really great mom who just made it so I realized, you know what? Yeah, issues, resolve those, but also not just issues. Sometimes the internalization of other people's projections and also wanting to fit in, genuinely wanting to fit in, so much so that I lose sense of myself and my own individuality. So I have been working to get over that. I have been single since 2020, so 2 years. Love it. Honestly, best decision of my life. Every time I'm single, I end up feeling like it's the best decision of my life, and usually it is. And TBH, I'm kind of at this amazing point where I don't necessarily feel that my singlehood should end or needs to end. I'm just rocking out with it. That being said, I guess a part of my healing journey is documenting how I'm doing, what's going on, what I'm thinking about, etc. And also sharing my personality with you all. I have been told so many times, you should make videos. And then I make videos and I just do it wrong. I've tried to be one of those people who scripts everything they say. And as one of my best friends, Paul, has said, also check out our podcast, Hotepery. You look like Derek Jack's wife reading cue cards. Blink if you need help. I've never felt so roasted in my life. It hurt my feelings so deeply. And I know exactly what he means because to some extent, I think, a part of my problem has been wanting to internalize this idea of, oh my gosh, you fart around the people you're dating, so there's something wrong with you. It wasn't until I think 2019 that I learned that there are some women, females, who just don't fart around their partners. That one blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, really? I just in that moment realized everything about who I am is just repulsive to some people. And in that moment, I was like, dang, I am probably going to continue to fart around the people that I'm dating. In fact, I think that farting around the person that you're with is a deep sign of intimacy. And if I can't do that, then don't want to be with you. BT dubs. This is Uncle Funky's daughter. Uncle Funky's daughter. And Curly Magic Curl Simulator with aloe vera, marshmallow, and nettle. This is for kinky, curly, and wavy textures. This is a holy grail product. I really, as somebody who has really kinky hair, I find that sometimes for me personally, it's a pain and a half to find products that I actually like. I find that a lot of products don't actually do what I need them to do. I feel like they don't ever actually give me the curls that I desire. And then I found Uncle Funky's. And once I found it, I was like, okay, well, this is an unsuspecting product. The packaging seems fine. I don't know what this is gonna do, but I'm gonna try it out. You know, it's giving me real disco vibes. I'm here for it. Put it in my hair. Have never been more satisfied with a hair product in my life. I truly had to go back to the store and buy more. I feel bad for the Walgreens that I got this product from. By the way, you can get it from like I think Target as well. Target, Walgreens, possibly CVS. If you're in New York, Dwayne Reed probably. And it's a life changer. It moisturized my hair in ways that I cannot describe. Like if you're someone with really tight, kinky hair, you're probably used to never being able to really do wash and goes in the way that you kind of wish they would come out. You're probably used to, oh my gosh, I washed my hair. 3 hours later, it is crunchy like a Brillo pad. You just know. You just know there's like probably not going to be a second coming of moisture. And you just have to rock out with that. With Uncle Funky's daughter's products, I put these products in my hair and I have actually woke up the next day with moisture. That's obscene. I'm not gonna lie, that's obscene and it's unheard of. I'm not used to it. It's changed my life. Like I could even like, you know, get these curls looking in a specific way and just kind of like once, you know, I work all the product in my hair, just go out just like this. It's amazing. I have like a cute little bounce to it. So great. I love it. And you can also work it into the scalp. I recommend working it into your scalp using all the product. It is so worth it. I think it's like $12 a tube, and I would even go as far to say you probably don't need any other product. Like, I'm not gonna say that with full confidence because I'm gonna be real with you. I'm a complete amateur when it comes to this beauty lifestyle. I'm here to vlog and tell you about my life journey, not to tell you how to fix your life, especially because I do not necessarily know what's going on in your life. That being said, I 10 out of 10 recommend. Ooh. Look at my hair, look at my hair, look at my hair, look. Looks so cute. I'm gonna add a little lip gloss because I'm about to share what's going on in my life. There are people who message me and they ask me, how are you? What's new? What are you up to? And I don't always have time to share. And so I figured, hey, you know what? Another benefit of video vlogging is I can make these videos. When people ask me how you're doing and what's up, I can send them these videos. And if they super want to talk to me and catch up, they can just ask me to hang out. Call. As someone with arthritis, I've reached a point where I do not believe in having long stream text messages. And TBH, I wouldn't go as far to say my life is that interesting or fascinating that it requires asking how I'm doing every day. Like, I really am one of those people where I can probably put everything in a vlog and then you probably know, hey, she's doing good. She's fine. Outside of like my besties, like I have besties who I talk to pretty much every single day. When I don't talk to them, it makes me really sad. Like, I feel like a part of my life is missing. I'm like, whoa, hold on. Where's my bestie? Spiritual connection. What's going on? That being said, how am I doing? What is going on in my head? I am doing well. How am I doing well? I'm doing well because I think that I've done all the things that I've needed to do to feel great. I was in therapy, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm still in therapy. I say was in therapy because it's kind of like when you get to the end of the flight and they're like, could you lift up your tray? Like, there become these subtle little hints that it's time to go, and you could either, you know, dig a little deeper and find some childhood trauma that's completely unresolved, or come to the conclusion that you'll probably be fine. Just, you know, meditate more. My therapist told me that I have to learn how to be my own cheerleader. This is the second time a therapist has told me this, and I didn't even realize that I was looking for a cheerleader and a therapist. I think that there's a little bit of a cultural gap, being that I was never a cheerleader, and also I was homeschooled, so I didn't really, you know, I didn't really, you know, it took me a second to really catch that one. But yeah, it's actually pretty nice to know that, you know, I'm kind of at the point in therapy where all I really need to do is learn how to believe in myself and trust that I'm not a terrible person. Even though, like, there have been points where I've stopped and been like, hey, am I a terrible person? I've literally asked that, and I've dug deep, and I've thought through every single bad thing that I've ever done. Like, I once remember I was in a New York nightclub. It was maybe like PhD, and I thought that the table that I was at ordered fries for the table, and I ate the fries, and they were actually some girl's fries, and I felt so bad. I felt really bad, and I was an asshole about it. I look back, and I know I was wrong. I know I was a terrible person. 10 out of 10 would not do again. By no means would I do it again. And in fact, I would even go as far to say the fact that I did that indicative of a larger problem. So yeah, I actually spent a lot of time during this pandemic, which is still going on. So during this pandemic, time continues to be spent thinking about what I did, you know, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, what are all the things that I've done? And I've kind of reached this point where it's very cool because I'm naturally a very thoughtful person. Like, I'm naturally someone who thinks a lot. I consider a lot. I go through a lot of thoughts a day. And I've reached this point where I'm like, now the thoughts really aren't the same. Like, now the thoughts are like, when am I gonna eat for dinner? I want to cuddle. I wonder if I'm going to be able to get this writing assignment done. Why can't I finish my writing assignments faster? I kind of wish that I was in another part of the world. I'm sleepy. I'm tired. So yeah, my thoughts have essentially calmed down. I don't really feel too stressed out, and pretty happy. I'm pretty happy. And I think that because I'm happy, there have been little things that have changed. This is going to have to do. Oh, okay. Wow. One of the things that changed are my pronouns. However, my gender did not change. Before, I was like very indifferent about pronouns. I've been openly gender fluid since I was probably 16. There are definitely pictures of me cross-dressing. Like it's a very intentional cross-dress at 16. And probably like at 16, I think it was that age. So before I probably had like the right words for it, I did go through that place of, I wouldn't say gender dysphoria, because gender dysphoria describes confusion, and I wasn't confused in regards to my gender as much as it was very much fluidity. It was fluidity. I was never confused or unsettled. I think that people have made me feel confused about my gender because of their projections onto me, which eventually, the older that I got, the more that I'm like, okay, actually don't take anything personally. Like, do take things personally. Like, some things you have to like stop and examine and be like, okay, this is fair criticism. That being said, like some of the things that I've experienced when I was younger, like people like just assume, like misgendering me, in that they would assume that I was a boy. And even though I would blend through genders and so forth, I never wanted to be a boy. I've never wanted to be transsexual. So, and that is a different thing. Transsexual and transgender are two different things, and I think that it's really problematic that they get lumped into one thing. So yeah, I started getting to this point where I would say around 18, 19, 20, 21-ish, I identified with she, her, they, them. I didn't really like feel like he, him ever really mixed with me personally. I would jokingly say, you can call me daddy if you want, like that was like a thing that I was saying. And I don't, you know, it was never like a mocking thing. Like, it wasn't a mocking thing. I think it was just something that at the time I could resonate with. And now I've reached this point where I don't use they, them anymore. And the reason why I don't use they, them anymore is because I don't think it really fits. When I lived in New York between 2016 and 2019, what I found was I actually enjoyed femininity. I just didn't have the means and accessibility and time to actually explore femininity. So I wouldn't necessarily say that like was a big factor in regards to me identifying as gender fluid or anything like that, because that existed pre the New York Times. But I will say that it did give me the freedom to just explore with my gender, with my sexuality, in ways that were just amazing. Like, this gender euphoria people describe, perhaps that's what it was. And I also started having conversations with people who were from different parts of the world, and understanding how for them, cognitively processing the they, them, even though it's easy for a lot of English speakers and a lot of younger people, I would say old people, they just have a harder time like getting to that. Wanda Sykes actually makes a joke about it. She's like, if you don't get the they, them thing, it's probably because you're old. You're aging yourself. And I will say that the more time that I've taken to listen to people talk, I have got to this point where I recognize the switch, the gender switch, it doesn't just go on and off. And I actually think in my experiences with people who identify as trans, so long as you're not being disrespectful, a lot of them seem to understand. I say all that to say, a part of the reason why I stopped using they, them is two reasons. One, it felt disassociative from who I feel like inside, in that it felt de-individualizing, and personally I believe in individualism. Even if I wanted something that wasn't traditionally gendered, I'd probably use zizum as opposed to they, them. I think that like using zizum or jizum, like X or Z, like using either one of those instead of they, them is actually something that could be much more beneficial for people who, you know, maybe might have a harder time with the understanding they, them. That being said, I also think there are just bigoted people that it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what pronouns you use, they're still not going to get it and they're still not going to want it. And I also think that they, them is a pronoun choice that is intentionally used regardless of how you interpret it. So I don't discount that. I just felt like there were a lot of linguistic things that made it so I don't really feel like that was right for me. I like she, her. I've always identified with femininity. And identifying with femininity doesn't mean that I feel like I have to behave a particular way as a woman. In fact, like, that's just never been who I am. I've always been more me. Like, I've just been me. I don't think that there's this rigid box of I'm a woman, so I have to not have my legs open and stuff. Like, you know, like, it's just that's not relevant to who I am. So I like she, her because I just think it's pretty. Like, this is gonna sound really shallow or weird, but I just like things that feel pretty. And it's really funny because I don't actually think that's too weird, or rather too uncommon, because through talking to males who experience, you know, gender like divergent tendencies or urges, it seems that they also enjoy the cross-dressing or the expressing themselves beyond masculinity because they enjoy the feeling of being beautiful or pretty, you know, like in a feminine sense. So for me personally, it's less about she, her being like, oh my gosh, woman. It's more about she, her being like, I like the just it like, yeah. that's just where I'm at right now. And I also feel like, I don't know, it kind of gives me soft girl vibes, like soft girl, soft. I think after going through such a stressful life, I'm really soft girling my entire life. And mind you, I don't identify as like a girl because I am a grown woman, gender fluid person. I'm grown. I'm a grown female. Girl is for children, and I am somebody's child. Like, you know, I was somebody's child. I'm somebody's adult. Like, you know, like that's a thing. And I think there is this element of I'm still figuring out adulthood and adulting and so forth. So there are girly characteristics to me. That being said, another part of what I've been doing is really digging down and understanding how I feel about the words that people call me and what these identities mean. I did like some really deep diving to see that girl is something that sometimes people use because they are undermining females, grown women. Like, it's kind of like a way to minimize. And I think that some people, like some women, like there's this concept of, you know, being scared of being aging, and, you know, a woman loses value when she gets old. I recently had this 40-something-year-old man reach out to me and tell me that he wants to have kids and so forth. And I told him I feel like you should date someone your own age. And he basically said, he literally like said, like, actually, I prefer someone your age. So there is this really, really real thing where it's not just him. Like, I've seen this like so often. I've read things about it where there's this valuing of youth because when someone's young, they're naive, whether or not they like it or not. I know there are a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, don't undermine, some people have to grow up fast. I've been that person. When you're young, I look back and I'm like, geez, ew, awkward. There's actually studies that show there's such a thing in males called young male syndrome. I swear to you, look it up. It's a neurological reality where between the ages of 15 to 35, young males are more likely to participate in high-risk behaviors that can basically get them killed. A part of the reason why they do it is due to sexual competition. So as you can imagine, young females are also quite young as well. So if people are like making very childish mistakes at up until like 35, then you that's definitely saying something. So I don't discount the elements of my still girlish self, I just, I don't know. I've been thinking about these words very deeply and getting to the point where some of them don't fit. Basically, I'm doing this identity formation, and not that I don't have a sense of self. I do have a sense of self. I think to some extent I had to start over in life, and that made it so, whoop, gotta revisit things. I don't know, to some extent I feel like I learned so much information, and now I'm finally getting to process it. Lately, the dictionary and Google have been my best friends. I've just been looking up words and finding so much fun in looking up the etymology of words and researching words. So I've really been nerding out on that thing in particular. I put my degrees in frames. I used to keep my degrees in the closet right next to the American flag because, you know, I just kind of had this point of, I wouldn't say it's imposter syndrome because I did really well in school, actually. When I went to my bachelor's program, I made Dean's List. I graduated in 3 years. I was really, really celebrated for my writing, and none of it really felt like it had any meaning. And then I went to this school, and that was stressful. That one was so stressful. It was so stressful. That being said, I developed a backbone, and I realized, you know what? Not everybody does it. Not everybody makes it through. I made it through. So it's worth celebrating. It's worth being proud of those things. So I framed them, and I'm very happy that I framed them. I'm very proud of them. I think that it's, you know, it's worth it. If you have a degree, frame it. Go to Michael's, because then you can get the frame for like, you know, $25, $50. I've seen people pay upward to $150 for a frame. Why? Like, at that point, you might as well go to Home Depot and make your own frame. Like, don't pay that much money for a frame for your diploma. Don't do that. Let's see. I feel like I've shared so many things. There are so many things going on in life. I'm constantly writing. I'm really happy because I'm learning how to celebrate my own achievements. And by celebrate my own achievements, I mean not undermine them and actually be very, very proud of them. Not in an overly braggadocious way, just in a, yay, I did this thing kind of way. And since doing that, I do feel happier. I do feel like, you know, I'm actually doing something with my life, even though my student loans make me feel otherwise. One thing I will warn you about with Uncle Funky's Daughter's products is they are very sticky. Again, marshmallows in it, and it literally makes me feel like a marshmallow. I feel like I'm just wobbling, and then it gets all sticky, and I'm like, yeah. I'm a plant mom now. I have orchids. I really like my orchids. They're my little buddies. They're so pretty. I love them so much. I have 3 orchids. I haven't named them. I think I will name them. I just haven't thought of names for them yet. And they're just my little buddies. This one, I feel like it needs water, so I'm probably going to give it water after recording this video. Or an ice cube. I'm giving them little ice cubes. Yeah. So that's my video. I hope you like it. Feel free to like it, and if you want to follow my life journey with me, subscribe, and I will make new videos with minimal editing, because if I overdo editing, then very little is going to get done, and I would like to get way more done. I look forward to seeing you all in the next video. If you have any questions or you want to talk about anything that I mentioned, feel free to leave a comment below, and I will see you later. Goodbye.